It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Mr. Nice Guy to these fuck niggas. Got nothing to discuss with them unless it's about business. I replenish when they all diminish. Started caking, I ain't near finished. Can't kill him, I been too kind. When the money pile, I need y'all to witness. Pull up on them like calisthenics with the jewels on me. Met your chick, she amused for me. Sent music to amuse, I was not enthused when they put the blues on me. Wait, fuck that, time for me to bust back. Show me where the love at, ho. Niggas on the block with the gun strap. Homie finna dump that, hit him where his mustache go. Ayy, get on my level. When it come to bank, I pimp my teller. Never been a nigga that'll rock Margiela. Never come around, I be a child better. Might not never get to rock Coachella. I don't get no fucks, I do you one better. I'm about my cheddar, don't sprinkle no feather. I skate, don't try like Bam. My cherry young nigga too hot, don't need no leather. I've been a living legend for a minute. I was at Apache trying to sell a ticket. Nigga used to rap when Debo had the bitches. I've been learning about the boss and treat it like an auction. Labels gotta bid it. I ain't never been with Stalin. I can make a call and get the money printed. Bitch, I do not play when it come to this rapping. Studied the game when I lived in the attic. All of that struggle just made me a savage. Singing my praise on my edge, been jagged. Hating that nigga ain't fit in my jacket. I give you that shit, y'all nigga be taking. Y'all bite my style straight trash. Y'all make it took 21 days, make stuff my habit. I'm gone.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody is doing well out there. In this video, we're going to be getting into another clip from the Rap Roundtable. I want to go ahead and just give a big shout out to Rap Roundtable. Y'all have been doing a good job of getting people talking at the very least, at the bare minimum. I got to give you credit for getting the people talking about y'all show, getting y'all clips circulated on social media. Y'all are doing y'all thing in that aspect. All right. So just a couple days ago, we spoke about Rap Roundtable because one of the hosts felt like the clips, after they released this next album, could possibly be regarded as the best duo in hip hop of all time. All right. We talked about that. Went through all the legendary duos in hip hop as a result of that conversation. And today, another one of their hosts has gone viral for speaking on the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle, in which he says that this battle has completely ruined hip hop ever since it took place. Now, I know this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers. This is going to be controversial to talk about. All right? Because there's some people out there that feel like the battle has catapulted hip hop. It has revived lyricism. It's reinvigorated a lot of fans. But there's also a lot of people out there that feel like there has been a lot of negative effects in hip hop because of the battle. Mostly because of the stan culture, which is what we're going to get into today. Something that I've been talking about and fighting with for quite some time. But let's go ahead and pull up the clip so we can get the full context, shall we? Okay, so they say unpopular opinion. The aftermath of the Drake and Kendrick Lamar battle actually hasn't been good for hip hop. Let's run it.
Drake and Kendrick ruined hip hop.
What?
Drake and Kendrick ruined hip hop, bro.
God.
They ruined rap.
What?
Okay? Wow. This battle ruined rap. It ruined hip hop, bro.
Talk to me.
This is why. This is why. Seemingly everything since this battle, even more than Jay and Nas, even more than Biggie and Tupac, that everything in hip hop seemingly revolves around this battle. Every single thing. Every podcast I look at is Drake and Kendrick. It's random conspiracy theories, but that's all right? The content creators, hashtag us. We trying to get views, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That wouldn't be enough. But when I look at everything in mainstream hip hop, it's completely attached to Drake and Kendrick. The superb, showing that Joey Badass just showed in this battle, right? It really just traces back to Drake and Kendrick, bro. You know what I mean? The whole, Playboy Cardi was supposed to have his DS2 Future moment this year, right? It just kind of revolved around Kendrick's guest verses. You know what I'm saying? The fucking Clips album, right? The entire rollout is Drake. Or a guy who let Drake rap on his song. You know what I'm saying?
And waiting for the verse.
And waiting for the fucking
Yeah,
verse.
that's true, Mace. No cap.
Everybody in hip hop has to mention either Drake or Kendrick for their shit to matter. And it to me, it seems like it's ruined the game. Listen, I know a lot of
Crazy.
people.
We were just talking about not too long ago. This is the greatest battle of all time.
It is. Sometimes a great fight fucks up the house.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as much as and I get a lot of people might feel I feel this way because I'm the Drake fan and I gotta defend this bozo every week. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons, but not the complete reason, guys. It's just it seems like everybody who wants their rollout, everybody who wants clout, everybody who wants to get mentioned on the fucking Rap Roundtable has to talk about Drake or Kendrick. And to me, it seemed like it's completely ruined the game at this point. That people don't even get fucking noticed if Drake and Kendrick are not tied to it. I go online and it's akin to 2-3 years ago watching the fans of Nicki Minaj and Cardi B argue with each other.
Nah, don't do that.
It's
Don't do
affected
that.
the entire game.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
The other day I saw them arguing over who looked better. I saw it. I know you saw it. They was arguing over who's more handsome. Nigga, I said, why is this on my fucking algorithm?
He's making sense right now.
All right. So that is the Rap Roundtable having their quick little debate about whether or not the Drake and Kendrick Lamar battle has actually been good for hip hop or for the detriment. All right, so here's where I stand on this because I have mixed feelings. Off rip, I can't say that it was bad for hip hop because it actually helped stimulate hip hop at a time where hip hop was already on the decline. If anybody had been paying attention to people like Ebro or other major platforms, radio platforms who covered hip hop expansively, the big conversation 2 years ago was hip hop is being divested in by the labels. The labels are looking at international music. We saw how heavily they invested into Tyler at that time a couple years ago, and it was expected that they were going to double and triple down on the international market even more, right? This is coming off of Afro beats being a big thing, for the last, let's say, 5-6 years, but really in the last, I'd say 3 to 4, it's kind of hit its peak, right? To where if you look at festivals now, it's a lot of Afro beats artists that be on these festivals, people that you either like, love, or don't care about, but they on that motherfucker, right? So that was the big talk. Hip hop is declining. The sales are down 40%. The labels don't want to sign hip hop artists no more. They don't want to sign rappers no more. Y'all don't take y'all music serious enough. Y'all not good. Y'all this, y'all that, y'all this, y'all that, y'all this, y'all that. I was here because I was covering it on my channel during that time when those conversations were happening. All right. So I cannot say that the battle negatively impacted hip hop when it came at a time when people were already complaining about hip hop being near its deathbed, as they've been trying to say since it came into existence. People have been saying that this was a fad since the 80s. They say, oh, it's going to die out in 5 years. And we've made it 40 plus, 50, excuse me. So clearly, it couldn't be all that detrimental to hip hop, okay, as a whole. Now, I also need to address, he said he's a Drake fan and he has to defend that bozo every week because he's a Drake fan. Now, this is where I believe hip hop has taken, and I won't even say hip hop as a whole, but I'll say hip hop media, I'll say hip hop dialogue online has taken a bit of a hit, is the fact that people feel that these artists need to be upheld and defended endlessly and or blindly, right? It went from people being Drake and Kendrick Lamar fans to now being Drake and Kendrick Lamar stans. And anytime you enter stanhood, things get tricky because you feel like you're just genuinely supporting the artist that you love and you don't like nobody besmirching their name. But then people take it to another level to where, you know, now my Twitter algorithm is filled with the same 10 to 15 people bickering back and forth every day about the same shit every day. The viral topics in hip hop, like he said, do happen to revolve around Drake and or Kendrick because the stands online are creating new narratives and the artists are putting out music. Drake is doing a whole lawsuit, you know. So even him, as he talks about the stands, he says he has to defend Drake every week on a podcast. If you're not a stan of Drake, why are you defending him every week on the podcast? Why can you not acknowledge anything that he does that's wrong or that looks corny? You know what I'm saying? The Drake fans don't see anything wrong with anything that he does, even when he's doing bullshit. Y'all should be calling him out about suing the label. Like, that's just what it is. But y'all have conditioned yourselves to say, no, he's doing it for the greater good of hip hop. They did this to sabotage him. They wanted to knock him off and do all of this stuff. It's a conspiracy, people. And that's where you lost. And because you're expounding so much energy in that direction, you trying to fight anybody who has anything to say against this dude. All your days is passing by, and that's all you're consumed in. So he is a part of the problem as well. Much respect to you, but you are. You know what I'm saying? Because homeboy really don't need defending. He's a massive artist. Y'all are clearly fans, so when he puts his music out, you're going to listen to it. You're going to like it. You're going to want to talk about the music. And that's fair game. The music is fair game. Everything musical is subjective. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to be lukewarm about it. Some people are going to say it's trash. That's the way it's always been with homie. Even at the pure height, when Drake was out here selling damn near gold, platinum in a week 10 years ago, it was a large population of people that said, I don't give a fuck how popular this nigga is. That nigga trash. Okay? If you live through this shit, you know that is a real thing. That's why that nigga was getting on songs saying, some of y'all that don't like me either don't get pussy or, you know what I'm saying, whatever. He was saying that a decade ago. Right? That was his scapegoat. So people are always going to have a complaint about Drake, just like there was always a complaint about Kendrick Lamar. There was always people that said, I don't like his voice. I don't like the way he rap. Even as he was selling platinum, as he was becoming the new savior of hip hop, as people liking Good Kid, Mad City to Illmatic, there was still a population of people out there that say the nigga nice, but I don't like his voice. I don't like the way he rap. I don't like what he talking about. There's always been these conversations. And regardless of those conversations existing, both of these guys have been massive the whole time. So now I don't feel like they need like this endless defense, because they're going to be all right either way it goes. Right? But it does seem to be all that people want to talk about. That's all that, you know, it's become the conversation, even as other projects are coming out. He mentioned, you know, a lot of the stuff that's happening in hip hop this year has revolved around either Drake or Kendrick, the artists who sided with either artist, or the artists out here that have collaborated with either artist, and how it's looked and how it's been, you know, perceived optically, or how Drake has tried to have the labels silence Kendrick Lamar's verse on Chains and Whips, or the Clips with their rollout, and talk about how the label was trying to shut them down and they had to buy themselves out the contract, and now they got the thing and they're trying to make it revolve around Kendrick, even though it doesn't. Because Kendrick was not on Ace Trumpets, which has gotten an overwhelmingly good response. And I wasn't even crazy about the beat. I caught flack for saying that. They came with So Be It. I like So Be It a lot more. That's gotten overwhelming response. People are following the Clips. People are buying the Clips merch. People are buying the Clips album pre-orders. I don't think that all revolves around Kendrick Lamar just because he's featured on the project. But I do understand the vantage point to a degree, because some people would say, well, would the Clips be receiving this much support if Kendrick weren't on it? I think that's a fair question. How far can we stretch that question to give Kendrick all that credit? I don't know, but I do think it's valid. Some people, not most of y'all that are actually subscribed to the channel that enjoy the content, but every time I do a Kendrick or Drake related video, I get people in the comments that are complaining. Blah, 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 Kendrick or Drake, Drake, you talk about Drake, you don't say, blah, 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 you're a K-bot. But the funny thing about it is, and I talk about it with y'all all the time, is I don't see those same people showing up for the other artists that I try to squeeze into the show. Just did a JID album review yesterday, nearly an hour long. It's got just around 1.5 thousand views on it. Kendrick and Drake content, anywhere between typically 5 to 10,000 views, and can shoot up higher than that depending on what time I drop it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a totally unequal playing field. So if we're going to talk about hip hop as a whole, then we do have to give a little bit more love to the artists that don't have that same name recognition if we want to see hip hop continue to grow, continue to spread its wings, and continue to have artists that can get credit for being talented. I completely agree with that piece. However, that doesn't mean that hip hop is suffering necessarily. It just means that we gotta learn how to ration our attention span a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And stop complaining about shit. Stop complaining about dumb shit, more specifically. Because I still, for the life of me, don't understand people that come and click on content that you already knew what the subject matter was, just for you to get in the comments and complain about the subject matter when you knowingly walked into it. That's like walking into a room that got a sign on it that says bomb inside. You get inside that bit, that motherfucker locked behind your ass, and now you finna get blown the fuck up like 4 extra hand. And you like, man, what the fuck, man? It's really a bomb in here? Fuck. Stupid ass nigga, why would you do that? Stupid ass nigga, why would you walk in? So that is also a thing. People have radicalized themselves. Maybe some of these people are bots, you know, maybe that's what it is. But it just really, it confuses the fuck out of me. Now, another point he made was about the Joey Badass, you know, and that whole battle. Joey Badass, Daylight, Ray Vaughn, and then all the other folks that jumped in and got their lick in. Reason, everybody that did their stuff. You know what I'm saying? Loaded Lux getting his piece in. Everything, the entertainment we had a few weeks ago. Although that is like an offshoot of the Kendrick Lamar battle, and of course Joey Badass was aiming at Kendrick and still wants, you know, to have that competitive moment with Kendrick, which he probably is not going to have. These niggas still had to show up and rap competitively at each other. These niggas still had to focus on their actual competition in the ring. So although it was a spinoff from the Kendrick Lamar Drake ordeal, it's still its own thing. Now, again, would that have been as massive of a thing if Joey threw a shot at a different rapper? Probably not, because but he knew what he was doing, because he knew that Kendrick was the man in the fucking throne. He GNX was already out, so he already saw how people were responding to the album and how the tour was coming. He knew exactly what was going on. He didn't know that people was going to jump on his motherfucking head as they did, but he knew that it was going to have a visceral reaction, and that's exactly what he wanted and needed in order to get attention on his EP that he ended up dropping and leading into his album. So yes, I understand the Kendrick element of it, But again, he still had to drop his bombs on his competition, which was not Kendrick Lamar. And Ray Vaughn came out and did his motherfucking thing, shine his star bright. Ray Vaughn, I would say within the last 6 months, probably earned his spot on the fucking double XL freshman. You know what I'm saying? If this was a year ago, I don't know if he makes that cover. But based on his activity at the top of the year and just been keeping that shit rolling and then staying consistent and doing other things like the On the Radar, putting out a good project that had nothing to do with no battle, no beef, no nothing, just straight good rap. But people got to give him that credit. People got to tune in to Ray Vaughn, right? A lot of people tuned in to Ray Vaughn when he was dissing, but people still need to go listen to The Good, The Bad, The Dollar Menu, which is an excellent rap project. So, again, I understand some of the sentiment, but overall, I can't say that it's ruined hip hop, right? I think the part that people don't want to say out loud after that battle, and I kind of addressed it on my channel last year, is that we got to witness two titans. And you could say Drake is whatever you want to say. He was a titan. And he actually got in the ring to compete. I'm not saying that he dropped the greatest diss tracks of all time to counter Kendrick's, nothing like that. But they actually came to the square and got down. And ever since that moment, people have been underwhelmed with a lot of the music that came out after. Okay? That's what happened. And the reason why that happened is because Kendrick showed us I won't say every, but he showed us different rap styles. And he excelled at each of them. He had the 6-minute onslaught with Euphoria over a trappish beat. He gave you 616 in LA, which is just straight lyrical mastery, full of entendres. I think the whole song is damn near an entendre. He gave you Meet the Grrrls, which is like just a scathing, like, let me bring you down to the pits of hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't about lyrical content. This is just about, I'm finna fuck you up since you disrespected my family. Then he gave you the radio bop. You know what I'm saying? With Not Like Us. And he did all of those things in exciting fashion. So then when everybody else decide, okay, the battle's over, I could put music out, and then you go back to the same frequency that hip hop was at before the battle, people are still searching for the mastery of the craft. And we haven't had a lot of people put out mastery of craft, right? We've had some good MCs come out, but they're not fully mastering. And the thing that people miss, and this is what I was talking about yesterday with Jid, is we have people that can rap exceedingly well, but they're not making the best songs, right? They're not mastering the mid-range to give us records that we can actually vibe to, bop to, turn on, and it's a banger and it feels good. And then the rest of the album can give us the stories, the details. So we have that imbalance. And then you have the people that are making just straight up ass shaking bangers, banger, 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 ass shake, ass shake, ass shake, ass like Big Sean. But then they don't have no fucking depth to them. So then it's like, okay, there was a banger, you got a charting single, but your album sound like shit. Which brings us back to the same issue, the lack of mastery, right? Because to be a complete master, you have to be a master of the entire thing. You know what I'm saying? Which is why the legends have the album cuts that give you the science, and then they have the singles that can play on the radio and still be regarded as, like, you still see the good lyricism within the commercial appeal. We don't have a lot of artists that do that. And a lot of the people that used to do it, they're not even excelling. The Big Sean's of the world not excelling. Wale's trying to get back to that place. You know what I'm saying? It's an uphill battle for him. You know, so we're kind of left with Tyler, the Creator, who put out a good album, had good commercial appeal, had a great rollout, gave us something different. Chromacopia shot the fuck up, did 300,000 plus the first week, you know? And he was rapping on that bitch. But outside of that, who's delivering? So I don't think that it's so much that the battle ruined hip hop. The battle actually put a microscope on the unspoken conversation that's been needing to happen for years, is where are the well-rounded artists that can do it all? And we haven't had them. And we've actually lived within the comfort of whenever Kendrick drops, we're going to get some of that. For better or worse, when Drake drops, you're going to get some of that. He's going to give you a little bit of lyrical, whatever, whoever's writing it. He's going to give you pop hits. He's going to give you danceable songs, or at least he used to, because he hasn't even done that for a while. And then you got J. Cole, who kind of delves in both lanes too. He knows how to make his style of rap commercially viable, and then he also will have the songs on the album that are more cathartic thinking music. We got comfortable with the big three. But the problem is, after the big three, who was supposed to be able to keep us fulfilled if or when they not outside? And the battle put a microscope on that, like, damn, the rest of these niggas, we got some good music out here, but damn, there's got to be more to it. And we just haven't found those candidates. So that's what it is. And unfortunately for some of the better lyricists and rappers, they're independent. They don't have the budget. They don't have the label. They don't have the support. They don't have the marketing budget. They don't have the billboards going up. They don't have, you know what I'm saying? They don't have the resources that Cardi B has. They don't have the resources that, you know, others may have to keep themselves at the forefront of the conversation. So they'll have like 2 days where we like, oh, this is a great song, and then it's like over with. But I don't think that's Kendrick and Drake's fault. Just think we gotta ration out our energy, let everybody feel the love if they doing something noteworthy, and keep the shit moving. I do think that the stand stuff is very excessive. People doxing each other. I saw on my timeline today, some nigga pulled up to like a motherfucking I don't know, that nigga pulled up to a sandwich shop out in New York somewhere. He was a Drake fan, and he was trying to pull up on a Kendrick fan. I'm like, these niggas is actually trying to meet up to fight over a rap beef that had nothing to do with them. These niggas need help. You know what I'm saying? That shit, I do feel like Homeboy wasn't lying when he said we've kind of devolved into the Nicki verse Cardi territory with that, as far as the stands go. Because what are we doing? You know? So I think a little simmer down on the fajitas. You know what I'm saying? Turn the motherfucking fajitas down just a little bit. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the entertainment. We still gonna clown that nigga about that lawsuit. That ain't going nowhere. Okay? We still gonna, if this man playing victim a year later, we're gonna talk about it just like we talk about everything else. That ain't going nowhere. But I do think that people need to get a better hold on the emotional part of it. I think it's a lot of emotionally unstable people living vicariously through their favorite celebrities, and that shit is never a good recipe. Okay? But outside of that, I think we'll be just fine. We just need to challenge these artists to become more well-rounded. And until we get more well-rounded artists, we're going to keep having this conversation, whether or not Drake or Kendrick are the topic of the conversation. Because if they're not the conversation, we got to find out who the worthy conversation is going to be. Just how I see it. And the last thing I'll say is, we got to figure out a way to show love to the artists that aren't necessarily charting either. You know, because a lot of times we start comparing the charts, we start comparing the sales, this, that, and the third, and then you got these, you know, these other artists that are doing good shit, but they're not getting the numbers. And because they're not getting the numbers, it's like, why would I pay attention to them? Because the numbers ain't there. I think we got to also get past that too. Like, it's okay to have numbers talk with motherfuckers that can battle the numbers. But for the people that are outside of that conversation, I think we need to evaluate them based on the output, you know, and say, do I like this or do I not? And let them get their roses based on that. Okay? But that's all I got to say, man. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and... Oh, no. Before I go. The global citizen thing. Today is July 7th. As of today, the voting system has reset. Okay? So all the votes that I got up until this point, they're now starting from scratch. So if you'd be so kind, go ahead and reload those votes for me. Again, just do the free vote. You get one free daily vote. Don't pay them no money. It ain't gonna make no sense. I don't know where that money's going. So just do the free vote and help me get on that global citizen stage for September so I can rock the fuck out. A lot of y'all say, hey, J Nolan, focus on your music a little bit more. Well, that's one way that you could get me to focus on music, is to get me on a big festival stage to where I ain't got no choice but to get out there and do the shit and have some new shit ready once I get off that motherfucking stage. Okay? But thank y'all so much for voting me thus far. And I just need y'all to keep that energy going. I haven't talked about the global citizen thing for about a week because I didn't want to bombard y'all. I was already in first place. I knew I was going to move to the next round. But now we starting from zero again and gotta get back up. All right? I'm gonna catch y'all a little bit later though. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.